someone else is always paying for your treatment. If you get cancer, you never paid enough premiums to pay for your treatment. Any type of major disease. You know, you have a heart attack and you're in the hospital. I mean, 2 weeks in the hospital here could easily run over $100,000. You know, you're not paying that in premiums. You know, I mean, and part of the reason why the hospital bill is even so high is because you're subsidizing their costs for people that don't pay. So that's part of the reason
Right.
why hospital costs are so high. I mean, all insurance works that way. So what some countries have
Social welfare as well.
yeah, but I mean but that's the
This is
same as
social welfare because basically the government is subsidizing it, and you know they can ask for whatever they want. You know,
yeah, but
it just turns into it's a government scheme where the government helps their bodies get rich. You know.
well, I mean, there's definitely issues with any type of social welfare system. It can be repressive, you know, but I think the key to any society is social mobility, right? Social mobility. You need the ability, and it's in your interest. It's basically through social mobility, you are um you should booster natural selection, right? Darwinian evolution, and even socially. No, even socially. I mean, if you think about it, basically what you want is you want a society of people where no matter what your situation you're born into, you have the ability to better yourself through just means, you know, and merit. And if you do that, natural selection runs its course, and your society, the health of your people, everything will improve gradually over time. I think where you go wrong with social policies is when we start, which is what we do in the United States now, is where you start saying, well, we have to reward people that don't deserve it without merit. You know, basically, when it gets to a point where the end goal is that everyone reaches the finish line at the same time, rather than rewarding the people that justly got to the finish line, you know, and deserve to be the first, second, and third place winners. You know, I believe that everyone should start from the same point, and we should reward the people that justly reach the end. You know, I think that's where socialism goes wrong, is when you're saying, well, it doesn't matter. You know, everyone has to be the same. Well, everyone isn't the same. Everyone shouldn't be treated the same. Everyone should have the same ability to reach a just goal. You know, that's what you should have in the society. You know, like I mean, if you look at Norway, they have a socialized system. Um, I don't know fully, but you know, you have to apply for positions. You want to be a teacher in Norway? Well, they only accept 10% of the population. You know, and everyone has a right to get an education in Norway. If you're qualified, you can go to university. It doesn't work like that in my country. My country goes by either you have to be extremely qualified, semi-qualified, and if you're a minority, you can make it in, or you have to be rich. And you know, we admit students based on lineage, just meaning, well, your parents went here, so, or your grandfather went here, so we're automatically going to give you more weight. You know, so we're going to take the C student over the B student. You know, that's ridiculous. But you know, in a society where you have a group of people working together, all things, the cost of all things are shared. All your roads, all these things are shared by the people. And you need these things for society to function. You know what I'm saying? It's just when you get away from the purity of just rewarding people that deserve it, that's where you have a corruption. And that's where socialism can go bad. You know, I mean,
That's where socialism always goes bad.
yeah, but I mean, capitalism can be bad too. You know, I think you just need a balance, like all things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean the problem with like socialized welfare, it's people in power. You know, they always end up becoming corrupt, and basically social welfare schemes end up being welfare for the rich, welfare for their bodies.
Well, I mean, perfect example. If you look at the United States, I mean, the only way to really look at these things is look at the indexes. And if you look at the indexes, the gap between the rich and the poor is growing exponentially in the United States. It's really becoming bad. There was just an article the other day about it, and what the rich are doing now is because we basically have a for-profit education system.
Um,
So let's say
is
somebody,
that because of capitalism or socialism?
no, that's pure capitalism. Because basically what's happening is it's getting to the point where in my country, if you're born into a poor situation, you know, you're screwed because you're not going to go to the
But
proper, you're not going to get the proper education.
but the United States has like the largest social welfare system in the world, probably in history. I mean, you guys have got more social welfare than anybody else. Probably the whole of Europe put together.
Well, I think you'd have to, I think we'd have to do the percentages. I mean, if
Well,
you're talking about
like
gross numbers,
spend more on welfare.
yeah, but we're
Spend
three,
trillions and trillions every year.
w- um, I don't know. I'd have to look at that.
Sure, I mean, your social welfare is bigger than your military budget.